What's up, everybody? It's Craig, and welcome back to the lab. Now, today is a very special day for me that I want to share with you because it is my first sponsored video. And with that, if you have joined me on this journey already, thank you for your support. And if it's your first time tuning in, also, thank you. Now, we're in the lab, and this is a cyc wall that I have built, and I've got videos on that on my channel. Now, a cyc wall, who doesn't love one? Because you're in infinite space. And one of the best things about it is that if you light it well, you can key yourself out and you can get tons of type of work done on this wall. So that brings us to a couple of things in the studio that I've been working on other than the cyc wall. And one of them has led to my biggest problem. My biggest problem is organization. And you want to keep a simple workflow, not just for me, but for all the other creators that come in and rent the space. And with that, that leads us to today's sponsor, which is Flexi Mounts, by the way. But let me not talk about that yet. Just take a look at what I've got going on here. Got a big mess, and that mess is behind the cyc wall. You only see it if you need to grab grip and gear from back there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Flexi Mounts GL1, and we're going to install it back there, get a lot of that off the ground, and help me keep a nice, smooth walkway. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's take a look in the box. We'll talk about the next steps for me and how they will apply to you in your space, which I'm assuming would be like a home garage or something of the like. All right, we've got some cables connected to an axle. We've got a lowering rod, crank handle, 2 pulley connections, 1 in each corner, and this is the opposite corner for the axle. These 2 plates you install, and then the axle will slide into them. All right, so this whole garage lift system is only 4 feet by 4 feet square. It takes up a small footprint, holds up to 300 pounds, and allows you to raise and lower. So on the back side, there's going to be 2 mounts for your axle. 1, 2. Then on the opposite side from the axle, you're going to have these 2 brackets and mounts that have pulleys on them. So you're going to install this in one corner, you're going to install this right beside it on the other corner. Then you're going to install 2 mounting points on your axle, and that's essentially half of the job. The rest is running cables and then putting the bottom bracket in place. Let's hope that it's as easy as what I'm saying, and we're going to get into it here in just a second. Okay, so this is it. This is super easy. You've got an axle, you've got the lowering rod, the cables, your hardware with some lag bolts and the like. You've got your platform. Remember, it's only 4 feet by 4 feet square, so you're going to unfold that. Here are the rails for that. You get a cardboard template that you can tape onto your ceiling. Make sure that these are over your studs, and you're just going to bolt where the holes are. Same thing for the axle. Bolt these in place. Doesn't get much easier than that. So let's get to it. I'm going to mark this template on my studs, and then I am going to start to install the lag bolts and get this all set up. All right, so I'm going to begin installation, and my installation is going to look a little bit different than yours. If you're in a house and you have identified your studs, remember, they're standard, 16 inches on center. So you go 0, 16, 32, 48. Easy enough. I am going to install these first, and since you see I have an open ceiling, I have taken care of doing some prep work to be able to install this correctly and utilize the 4 foot space, because this alleyway here is actually wider than 4 feet. So I should be just fine. Now for this, I'm going to go step by step. You would take the template and then you would tape it on the ceiling and make sure that there are no gaps. Then once it's taped on the ceiling, you can mark the holes in all of the brackets, all 4 of them, and then install them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark the holes, and then I will pre-drill the holes to install these. Okay, I've got a 0.2 millimeter bit, and which is a little less than 1/4 of an inch, And then all we're gonna do is go 2.5, about 2 3/8, 2.5 inches deep. I am just starting the lag bolts. All right, I had a small microphone problem, but what you see here is the installation of the axle, and I am sliding it into place and extending it, and each of those corners is going to slide into the mount that you saw me ratchet into place using the supplied lag bolts. Now, once this is fully extended, there are 2 holes in the center where my hands are, and you're going to put bolts within those holes, and you'll see that coming up here in a second. Once you install those bolts, then the axle is now locked, and then you can get ready to route the cables over the pulleys. And you're going to take the long end of the cables. You cannot misunderstand it. There's a short end of the cables and there's a long end. The long ends go through the pulleys and connect to the outside of the platform, whereas the shorter ends will connect to the inside of the platform, and you'll see that here shortly. We're about an hour in, and this is the home stretch of the installation. I am doing each corner, and you're going to connect the ends of the cables through each corner and lock them off with 2 nuts. And as I sit here, I am 210 pounds versus the 300 pounds that it holds. All right, I apologize for the technical difficulties that I had earlier with the microphone, but we're back and we're done. You saw that I sat down. It holds me just fine. I am actually using it right now, and I am going to show you how to do that. So before you do this, you have to take your lowering rod here. It's got a hook on the end. You're going to take that hook and you're going to insert it into that tab, and that is the safety lock. Once you have that free, you can take the lever now and lower this. All right, so with the safety lock disengaged, you can now raise and lower this thing. I will say that before you use it for the first time, you have to have a load on top of the platform. So that way it has some tension for you to actually raise and lower with. So I'm going to lower this and show you what that looks like. Wrong way. Okay, and this is it. I have already loaded this up. I will show you the after of my alleyway here that is behind the cyc wall, and you can see what a convenience this has been in getting a lot of this off of the ground and then freeing up some space for me back here to be able to bring gear in and out. It is behind the stage. I've gotten a lot of this gear off the ground and allowed me to restructure the way that everything is in the studio. So my spring cleaning is going to continue back here and throughout the studio. I want to again thank today's sponsor, Flexi Mounts. And if you are in the market for a garage lift system or something similar that they have in their arsenal, you can use my promotion code and the details will be below. That will get you 10% off of your purchase. I want to thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe, or share. And until the next time.